created by JSSIS students under the supervision of our school counselor, Miss Alfia Kossa. The goal of our program is to bridge the gap between our alumni and present JSSIS students to provide us with an interesting understanding of the significance of our school years in shaping the foundation of our identities, the college admissions process, campus life, and the transition from high school to university life. I'm sure we're all having trouble navigating this roller coaster trip. This is our attempt to make this hectic process a little less stressful by providing you with a ticket to your dream university.
We'd also like to remind you that the final 15 minutes will be devoted to a question and answer session. You may put your doubts and questions in the chat box and we will address them. Please refrain from speaking to ensure a smooth session. Begin with today's session. Today, we will be covering the admission processes for Europe. Let me introduce our alumni speakers for the session. Kamalesh Sriram, who has majored in BSc in Aeroscience Engineering at TU Delft Netherlands. Then we have Karan Chauhan, who is pursuing medicine at the Faculty of Medicine, Masaryk University, Brno, Czech Republic, and is a fourth-year medical student and as a fourth-year medical student. And lastly, Hruday, who is studying mechanical engineering at Rhine-Waal University of Applied Sciences at Germany.
Right. So, to start off, I just want to inform you that these questions will be directed to all the interviewees unless specified. Therefore, if you think someone has missed a point, you can always add on. I would now like to request the alumni to switch on their videos.
Hello, guys. So starting off with the first question, it's a very generic question. Why do you guys choose to study in Europe?
Honestly, because I think the primary reason was access to home, the choice of English programs, and affordable fees as compared to United States and United Kingdom. So I'd like for the US and the UK, I would have had to take student loans, and I didn't want to come out of college with a loan. So Europe was more affordable than the other two places. So that, and obviously the prestige of European universities being quite old and their credibility. So that was my decision-making process.
Either one of you can carry on, like whoever wants to speak. Kamalesh or Hruday.
Well, yeah, exactly. The ratio between like how good the university is and compared to the fees, like Europe is really good. Like at least for me, the choice of aerospace engineering, the TU Delft was among the top. Maybe some universities in US are better than TU Delft when it comes to the same degree, but like you don't see much difference, and also like the cost of living will be a lot more in US. So for me, the two good options were either India or TU Delft Europe. So that's why I went for this.
And for me, again, as Karan and Kamlesh said, the fees and even the cost of living is quite low here compared to other countries. And Germany is an engineering hub too. And it's quite easy to work anywhere in Europe compared to like other countries with a German engineering degree.
Makes sense, yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for your answers. Makes sense why you all went to Europe compared to the other countries that we have. Now, did you only apply to one country? Because most of the students apply to at least two countries as a backup. Also, did you all only apply to like European countries, or did you also apply to like probably United States, UK, Canada?
Well, for me, when I was in 12th grade, which was in 18. I graduated in 2018 from JSSIS, and we were the first year to have the new campus. We graduated from the new campus, and but basically, I ended up applying to a lot of places, also because I was conflicted between law and medicine. So I'd applied for law and medicine, and I'd gotten into the United States and United Kingdom for law and medicine. But in Europe, the universities for law would really constrict you down, as you would have to be doing only, the country-specific laws, which is not good if you want to practice all around the world. So I did end up applying to a lot of countries. Like I'd applied to the Common App for United States and the United Kingdom. The five, you can choose five universities. And along with that, I'd also looked into India because I would have, the Armed Forces Medical College was primarily where I would have gone if I wanted to go to India, because I would have loved to participate in the army. But other than that, it was mainly all of the European, United Kingdom, and United States. So.
Right. Any one of you could go on.
Well, I graduated during the COVID era. This when it started in 2020. So a lot of entrance exams were being delayed. However, I did apply to, so my options were either mechanical engineering. That's the most popular option for bachelor's. So I applied to India and also US, UK, Canada, and Germany as well. Germany is also was one of my top choices because they have really good mechanical engineering programs there. But then TU Delft, in Netherlands, was the only place that I applied for aerospace engineering for my bachelor's. And when I got in, I realized that aerospace is what I really wanted to do. So it makes sense to do that for the bachelor's itself rather than taking mechanical engineering and then a master's. But yeah, I had applied to a lot of other colleges just as a backup option, which is always necessary. And it's also nice to, apply for different degrees. You never know, maybe one interests you, so then you can pick that.
Unlike Karan and Kamalesh, I applied just to one country. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So moving on, considering your majors like medical and engineering, which subject marks were the most important to get into a good university outside?
With medicine, I mean, I think it's obvious the physics, chemistry, and biology has to be the best. But with that being said, I think it's more like a 70-30% weightage of the entrance exam of the university as compared to your own grades as well. So 30% your grades do matter from school. They are very important for your application. But still the entrance exams are probably a lot more, they probably hold a lot more weight for your admission. And in my case, it was again physics, chemistry, and biology. So.
I feel like this depends on the university itself. So when you're applying, you need to actually look at the requirements of the university. But at least for my case, TU Delft, it was the full weightage was just on the entrance exam. So your grades didn't really matter that much as long as you passed it. That meets the requirements. It was mainly the entrance exam, and once you get a rank, then that's it. You get in the university. However, subjects would definitely be good understanding of physics and mathematics, because the entrance exam will ask questions on, if you're taking engineering, then definitely they will ask questions on physics and mathematics. And usually I feel like the 12th grade ISC curriculum itself prepares you more than enough for the entrance exams. The entrance exam will also have a part of their own course, their own degree content as well. So that's something they will provide. That's not something you can prepare for. But other than that, like as long as you've taken these subjects, you're good to go for the entrance prep.
Okay, so here in Germany, coming from an Indian school, you have only 12 years of formal education, and Germany requires 13 years of formal education. So you need to go through 1 year of freshman. So, like, to get into a university, all that matters is what you get in your freshman. And after your freshman, you can apply to any university. So, your marks, as long as you've passed them, you can apply to the freshman institute.
Oh, okay. So basically, for Karan and Kamlesh, your entrance exam marks mattered more than the 12th grade marks. So you needed passing marks, and for Hruday, you needed to complete an extra year as a freshman. Okay.
Zai, just adding on to Zudai's point, you said that you had to do a freshman year or a foundation year. How does that go about? Is it only like what you study in school? Is it like that? How the school environment is back here? What do you study? All of that for anyone who's looking into Germany.
Okay, so I think as Kamlesh said, the IC 12th grade prepares you for basically everything, and the freshman wasn't like, it isn't very hard if you know your 12th grade stuff quite well. Yeah.
I think what I can add on to this is probably being in an international university with, like, I think we have out of 193 countries, we have about 60 to 70 countries, people from 60 to 70 countries in my university. And just based off of statistics and looking at, sample sizes, the ISC 11th and 12th grade, like, school syllabus is probably one of the strongest in the world. Like, it really does prepare you for any degree that you would like to get into. Yes, you can argue that probably because with stuff like IB or IGCSE, there's more practical knowledge and application knowledge, but I think ISC is also catching up on that. But more than like worrying about these things, it's just genuinely focus on the knowledge, because that's something that no one can take away from you. Like, focus on building up your knowledge. The application part of it will come anyway. You have to start doing it at some point. Of course, it'll help if you're doing it earlier on, but if you don't have the opportunity to, don't be too stressed out or bogged down about that. Just focus on the knowledge. Keep all your tools as strong as they can be, and they'll help you in university for sure. Like, in the first year, when I had biology again in medicine, like as a first year student, it was just a repeat of 12th grade biology. So I didn't have to study that much for that exam. Like, and okay, yes, there were the stuff related to cancer and stuff like that, which we didn't do in high school, but still, it makes your life a lot easier if you study hard in 11th and 12th grade.
Right. Thank you for your answers. Makes sense why we always pressurize that 11th and 12th is really important. We must study in those 2 years. Again, our next question is, what was your admission process like? What were your first steps? When did you start? And as you both, Kamlesh and Karan, said that you had to write an entrance exam. So when did you write it? All of that. So specifically for the 12th graders who've joined us, who will be applying soon to colleges.
I don't remember the exact months and dates because it was 4 years ago, but I remember applying, like, my application procedure started around end of 11th grade, start of 12th grade. End of 11th grade, I was more in like the choosing phase and selection process of like what I want to do, where I want to go, gathering all the information possible. finding out about the exams that I might have to write. Would I have to take any language proficiency exams or something like this? So it was more like an information gathering stage in the 11th grade. Start of 12th grade and like I think midway through 12th grade, it was, go time. You got to start considering your visa. You got to start considering the tuition fees. You got to start considering exactly which university you would like to say yes to. And depending upon some courses which require your conditional grades, just like most of the United States and United Kingdom exams that universities that I applied to required the grades that you would get with the pre-boards. And my exam in Europe, the thing is most of the universities have their own entrance exams. I don't know if it's like that in the other countries, but I'm pretty sure it probably is as well. I know Germany has their own medical exam as well. But the thing with Germany is that you can only practice medicine in German language. You can't do it in English because they don't have English programs. And that was probably the main reason why I didn't go to Germany as well. But other than that, just midway through 12th grade, start taking it very seriously. In fact, when I had written my entrance exam for the university that I'm at, it was 2 days before my physics pre-board, and I ended up not doing that well in the physics pre-board because I didn't have time to prepare for it that well. But it's okay. Like my university didn't need the predicted grades, and so the 12th grade exam finally was more important. But depending on which university you're applying for, your pre-boards also do matter. So don't take them lightly. And I also did write the SAT and ACT in the end of 11th grade. Because I was like, I might as well get done with this and put it out of the way and leave 12th grade for more actually, planning everything out, getting my visa, sorting out all the papers and documents. And so, yeah.
Well, even with engineering, I had kind of the similar experience as Karan shared. So it was, again, in 11th grade, it was just, again, collecting all the information, getting to know all the places and the degrees that they offer and the fees and everything. You just maybe do like a comparison. And then in 12th is when you start applying to all the colleges that you really want and all the degrees that you might be interested in. So at least for me, I had applied to India as well. Like I wanted the NIT engineering colleges in India. And for that, you need subject sats. So I started giving them like much earlier because even I wanted to get done with them before my boards or like the main exams. And then, well, also for you also need some language courses like IELTS for US and Canada. And also, but out of all of them, I felt like Europe was the easiest process so far. All you had to do was apply for the university, and then you had to just give one entrance exam. There was no language course requirement, nothing like that, just some motivation letters, and you just had to prepare for the entrance exam. And even with that, you had some flexibility. So there was a time duration when you could give the entrance exam, but unfortunately, it coincided exactly with the board exam dates. It was right in between. So, I had to, it was kind of hard managing both, but then somehow you do, but there was still some flexibility of choosing the day that you want to give the exam and also the time. So you can still do it. I think it's still the same way if you're applying for TU Delft Aerospace. I think the entrance exam will still coincide with the same board exam dates, but I think that's still dependent. But other than that, yeah, it's usually like if you're in 11th, I think it's the best time to start looking at all the universities.
So okay, even I started applying midway through 12th grade. Um, like after I finished all my research during 11th grade and all that, and I wasn't confirmed with Germany when I was in 11th grade, so I gave my SATs as well in 11th grade so that I can focus on my 12th grade and I don't have like other exams that will bother me later. And I gave TOEFL as well. Again, for Germany, for me, I study in an English college, so for me, I need TOEFL. But if you decide to choose a German program, you need to have a German language certificate too. Um, yeah, so it depends what kind of program you choose.
And just to add on to what Kamlesh was saying about when you choose to do your your entrance exams, I think most universities in Europe have two cycles. So there's one examination round in February, and if I'm not wrong, there's one in May/June. So depending on that, you could plan out your studies and do it accordingly. And also about languages, like I also wrote the TOEFL and IELTS, but in Europe, the thing is like most places will not require it as much as how they would require if you have maybe a prep course in their language or some introductory lessons in their language or something like this. Because with Europe, one thing is that although it's not necessary to know the language of the country that you're in, it greatly helps. Like it really, really, really helps. Like even though I'm in an English program, I have to learn Czech, which is the language of Czech Republic. I have to learn it obligatory because we interact with patients who only speak Czech, and not all of them speak English, right? So definitely, like if you're like long-term plan is to try and be in Europe, like study here, work here, definitely pick up the language and like look into that.
To add on to him, and to make it more specific to the Netherlands, like one amazing thing I found here was that almost 90 to 95% of the people, they do speak English. So language is not really a major problem migrating to a completely new country. So at least in that way, it was like perfectly fine. I think Germany is the one exception where you do need a language course. You need to go through 1 year of maybe like learning German, because most of the courses, especially in your bachelor's, they're offered in German. But here, at least there are a few courses like the top ones like aerospace and computer science, they're offered in English. There are other courses that are offered in Dutch, but then, yeah, it's, I think when it comes to masters, then all the courses mostly are offered in English as well. So, but it definitely helps. I mean, you can still get a job even with like this English without learning Dutch here in the Netherlands. But then still learning Dutch really helps you in terms of just like integrating with people, the culture, and also will kind of improve your prospects as well studying here.
Adding on to what both of them said, in Germany, learning German is very, very important. Like, although I studied in an English university, outside of my university, everywhere in supermarkets, in trains, everywhere else, it's all German. And most of the older people don't even know how to speak English. So it's good to know at least basic German to get by, if not very fluent. Yeah.
Thank you for all of your answers. It was really informative to like know about your experiences. So moving on to the next question. This is directed to Karan. Considering medicine takes such a long time to do, why did you decide to do it?
That's a tough question to answer. Something I'm currently even dealing with. Well, medicine is a 6-year course in most European universities, and there's two reasons why I found this better than United States or the United Kingdom. Now, with the United States, it's 8 years totally, actually, because you would have to do a pre-medical course, like a bachelor's course, in anything, biochemistry, biology, something like this, for 4 years as a pre-med. So you have to do a bachelor's of science in something or a bachelor's of something. And only then are you allowed to write your MCAT, which is the medical entrance exam of United States. And then you can do 4 years of actual medical school. So that's 8 years. I definitely don't want to do that. I don't want to start working when I'm almost 30. So that was out of the question. The United Kingdom is 5+1. Why do I say 5+1? Because 5 years of actual education and then 1 year of internship. So it turns out to be 6 years as well. India is, I think, only 5 years or 4.5 plus half, which is 4.5 for actual studies and then half-year internship. And then after that, you can actually specialize. And well, Europe, the advantage was for me that it is also 5+1, essentially. Like it's 5 years of actual education and then 1 year entirely in the hospital working. But this 1 year, which I do in Europe here, I can do anywhere in Europe that I would like to. And because my university has tie-ups with University of Liverpool and University of Manchester in the United Kingdom, I can have a dual program and go there. So the last year, if I finish it all outside of where I am, Czech Republic, it counts in Czech Republic and it counts there. So I wouldn't have to do a foundation year course when I'm specializing in medicine if I was supposing to go to the United Kingdom or Ireland or something like this. The other thing is the personal decision part. Like medicine is not for the weak. Medicine is not for the people that want money, because it's not like yes, there's a lot of money in medicine, but don't do it for that because you won't last. You just won't last. It's a grueling course. I personally think it's probably the toughest course in the world, and just in terms of course material and how much there is to study and how our exams are. Also, given the fact that we have to do research and make our own thesis and defend our thesis and this and that, like purely based on medicine and biology, it's tough because you can't see everything that you're researching or working on. So for me, it was because I was passionate about this. There's, contrary to what the usual is, there's no one from my family in medicine. I'll be the first one in the whole family. So I also took that as a little bit of a motivation and inspiration to move forward and push through. But it's an entirely personal decision. I mean, do not get into medicine just because your parents want you to. It's a bad choice, because I've seen my friends here who were in that situation and they're not here at university anymore. So do medicine because you really want to do it. Do it because you actually have an innate sense of responsibility to people and helping people out and being there for others when no one else can. And I mean, I think it's the most humanitarian, most noble profession you can do. And just be sure that you want to do it, because if you genuinely want to do it, there's nothing that can stop you. Like, medicine is not even more so that much about having Elon Musk IQ. It's more about work ethic. It's about knowing what you have to do over what you want to do in the moment. So it makes you disciplined, and yeah, you really, really, really got to want to do medicine and become a doctor. So
Yeah, that
This
was
is one.
yes, sorry, fine, go ahead.
This is one reason why I have like huge respect for doctors, because like doctors like you cannot even compare them with engineers, and especially the fact that you guys do like 5-6 years It's crazy. But also, yeah, I agree with him. Like another reason why Europe is so much better than US or like UK is because for us in engineering, most engineering universities here only offer 3 years for bachelor's, and it's not even BTech. It's like BSc here, and it's 3 years. I mean, technically, it's 2.5 years. There's half a year of mandatory minor program, which is another amazing opportunity that you will have to maybe like apply to some other university and then take a completely different degree to just kind of explore your interests. That's also a fantastic opportunity to again explore another country. You know, it's very low stress studying, so it was also a perfect experience. But in general, it's like just 2.5 years, and then but here masters is definitely mandatory. Like if you want to land a job, then masters is the only thing that kind of distinguishes you from most other people here. So it's almost necessary to do 2 years additional for masters here. um, but yeah, if you're like in 11th grade, I think just keep your options open. You don't have to like limit yourself into engineering or medicine or even like a specific field of engineering. There's still so many options. Sometimes your gut feeling will tell you maybe take this, but then it might not always be correct. It could also be something that you thought you wouldn't even consider yourself wanting to take this course, but then maybe it's what interests you. So right now, I think it's the best time to just explore, maybe try out different activities, enroll in some clubs, maybe go and do some, I don't know, like even if you get like some opportunity to work and really experience. Like for me, the one thing that made me realize that I want to do aerospace for bachelor's was during the entrance exam. They actually provided us some course of related to aerospace, kind of like the first year of aerospace. So I kind of got a taste of on what I will actually be doing. So that made me really sure that this is what I want to do, because you do need that, especially when you're taking engineering or medicine. You kind of have to be sure to last like the all the years that you're studying. And TU Delft Airspace as well is like one of the most challenging universities in all of the Europe. And I know a lot of people who leave in the first year itself. So you need to be really sure. But right now, I think it's the best time to just explore.
Adding on to what Kamlesh is saying, like definitely I support what he's saying, because in 11th grade, you don't have to know for sure what you want to do. Don't put that pressure on yourself. If anyone puts that pressure on you, don't, just phase it out, ignore it, because there's people I know that are in their 30s and still not sure what they want to do and still figuring things out. So there is no timeline. There is no, perfect guideline for everyone. By this age, you should do this. No, figure things out in your own pace. In 11th grade, definitely try and do all you can. Like, just even if you're not as, maybe if you're not enjoying it that much, just do whatever you can. Like in 11th, I think I did the most amount of things with my friends outside of school. Like we didn't, okay, yes, we were in school and we were doing our exams and everything, but we did JSS carnivals, we did MUNs, we did going for business tournaments and like making the idea of a startup. I was also working in a clinic because I wanted a taste of how is it in medicine. Like just use 12th grade to like branch out, do whatever you can, extracurricular activities, because it's so important and so essential to find out actually like what do you like doing as opposed to what you're told to do, right? And like that, especially with universities like ours, like one of my friends is at TU Delft doing aerospace as well. He's from my year, not from JSS, but I don't know if you know him. His name is Jason, and he tells me that it's extremely challenging, and to the point where I mean it's almost comparable to medicine as well, because this might be not the thing you might want to hear right now, but my batch joined in with 220 students, and now the people like that are on track and where we should be in medicine, and like with no repeated years from the back or no like fail or anything like that, it's around 30 out of 220. So like a lot of people that I joined with are still doing subjects that I finished last year. A lot of people I joined with aren't here anymore. So it's a battle. It's tough. Like it's grueling, but trust me, there's light at the end of the tunnel because it's such a rewarding experience. It's such a rewarding experience. So like for me, like I feel fulfilled knowing that I'm struggling right now, but my struggle is going to help someone else. So at the end of the day, that's what keeps me going.
Yes, thank you so much, all of you, all for your inputs, and Karan, your answer really helped. Both me and Kashish are looking into medicine, so that one was helpful for both of us personally as well. Right, so moving on to next question, particularly to Kamlesh and Hruday. You guys decided on doing engineering, so did you have to write any exams? Like, yeah, you said that you had to write the entrance test, but did you write like JE, JE Advanced, and as well as did you write any other competitive exams apart from your entrance exam? And Cousin, did you write NEET or any other competitive exams like the ones in India, or only just your entrance test?
Like I'll let Kamlesh and Hruday answer first, and then I'll answer.
Well, yeah, for sure. Considering engineering, I wanted to do in India as well. So I did do the JEE. I did prepare for JEE. And for that, I think it's really helpful to maybe join a separate coaching. Because although like you cannot really use the knowledge from CBSE and ICSE to prepare for JEE, and it's really, really challenging, especially here in Dubai, preparing for some exam which is in like India, where there are already specialized coaching institutes there, and like people really preparing for it in batches. It'll be definitely really challenging, but I know a few people from my batch here in Dubai. They did make it to IITs. That's definitely possible, but yeah, it's just something you really want. Like you should be again sure of that you really want IIT. You cannot have options open basically, which is something that didn't go well with me, because by the time, again, it was due to COVID. I gave the JEE mains. However, I was waiting for the JEE advance, but then it got postponed. But I already got in TU Delft, so then I was like, okay, I'll just go with this rather than hoping for a seat. It's like very unlikely as well. So I was like, okay, I have one option, and have to like take it within a particular period, otherwise I'll lose the seat. So I went ahead with that. But then it was also a really good experience. Like at least JEE mains, I would say, at least learning for JEE advanced. I feel like it's very, very specific to IIT, but preparing for JEE mains gives you a very overall view of engineering, and it really helps you. And even in the coaching center, it was actually a really great experience. Like we stayed there long hours. I maybe I'm not a good example to the students here, but I used to barely come to school, and because I was already like preparing for JEE. But then of course, like you kind of learn all the course, like all the ISC subjects through JEE as well. So um, but it definitely is challenging. You need to like work almost at least definitely 8 to 10 hours you need to study for that. But then also, yeah, like going to that coaching institute, even though maybe I didn't end up in India in an IIT college, but it also gave me a separate family of my own. Like I have met amazing friends there. It was a really good experience. And also for us, I think we were the last batch where we had the option of taking subject SATs. So there are colleges which are NITs, and you need JEE mains rank for NITs and JEE advanced rank for the IITs. However, if you give subject SATs here in Dubai, as an option, like you have this DASA quota, but that ended in our year. So it was if you score like perfect 2,400 in subject stats, then you can get a place in NITs. And I also know a lot of people from my batch who ended up in the top NITs doing computer science and EC, those courses. But however, that option is no longer possible for you guys. So you have to do JEE mains for NITs.
As a general rule of thumb, like I think based off of what the knowledge I know from myself and from my friends, getting into India or any course in any university in India is tough, but getting out of the university is relatively fine. Like if you've gotten in, most likely you will get out and might secure a job and everything. Whereas in Europe and United Kingdom especially, it's relatively easier to get in, but getting out of the university is the tough part. Graduating actually with the course that you want to is the challenging part. So just as a general rule of thumb to follow in your decision making.
And for me, I couldn't get myself to do exams like JEE. It's just too hard. And like along with 12th grade, preparing for JEE and everything, it would just be too stressful for me. So I did not do any competitive exams like JEE, but I did give the SATs. But again, for Germany, it's not necessary. I just gave them as a backup. And as Karan said, it's very easy to get into universities over here, but graduating is very, very hard. Like I hear a lot of people, they come in to do mechanical engineering or mechatronics or something, and at the end they just cannot do it, so they switch to either industrial or some other easier course so that they can just graduate and secure a job.
And also, I feel like there's a lot of bad stigma surrounding, especially with entrance exams like JEE and getting into IITs and stuff. But yeah, definitely, it's like this getting in part is the most challenging one. But if you really have the mental stamina and you really make it through the selection process, it definitely is like your life is so much better. Like, people really recognize you as an IITian anywhere in the world. Like you just have so much opportunities. So that's like definitely something to consider. But then also you need to make sure that you're ready for that. Like it's something it should be specific to your own, should make that decision and not because of some pressure from others. So you should know that you're ready to face on this challenge, but you should know that, it's totally worth it actually, like giving these entrance exams.
And with medicine, like some of the universities in Europe also accept your SAT and ACT scores. My university didn't. The one that I chose in the end, it had its own entrance exam, and you also had to give your motivation letter and letters from your teachers or your principal or your school counselor and things like this. But again, like just like the same that I said, it's not as hard to get into Europe. But staying here is the tough part because they test you and they push you to your paces and they want to know that you can actually handle working in whatever field that you are doing. Doesn't matter about that. It's about being able to perform in a working environment because once we're out of university and school, I mean, once we're out of school, we think, okay, we're entering like adult life, like we're adults now, we have everything sorted out. No, when I came to university the first year, I was like, I feel like a child. I feel like I don't know how to do anything. Like I was so protected at home and like my parents helped me out with so many things. But then you don't know how to do a lot of basic things when you first step into university. And like managing studies along with living life entirely on your own, that's the tough part. So just try and get a little bit of exposure, try and be a little independent and work as if you're working in a working environment already, because at the end of the day, why are we going to universities? We're doing this so that we can get a proper job, do something for the society and the community. So yeah, just put yourself in a slightly more mature position than you probably would want to. I know it's hard. I know it's, it's probably the time that you think that university is like freedom and it's fun and everything. Yes, it is. It definitely is. And fun is a major, major part of my routine here, because if I was studying as I do 6 to 8 hours per day, every day, all days of the week, I would go crazy. Yeah, I would go crazy. I'm definitely not the kind that can do that for a whole year and just sit and study. Just like how Hruday said, like I didn't bother with the NEET in India, because like it's ISC exams and CBSE exams times 10. So I didn't really want to mess around with that. But the SATs and ACTs, like preparing for them, just like how Kamalesh said, like in the entrance institutes, it's actually quite fun. You do make you make friends there, and usually they're all from other schools around in Dubai, and you end up knowing someone or the other mutually. And yeah, it's fun to study for those things, and just getting into the groove of getting into university. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you for answering. Like, it was pretty insightful to know, your struggles, and like giving J must have been really tough, and waiting for, getting accepted and stuff like that. It's really nice to know that, there are other options that people can opt to other than, suffering, but struggling to get admissions in IITs and doing all the stuff like that. So, another question, how is it like to adjust in Europe? Considering it's a really big change in your life, how did you guys adjust, and what can you advise the students or how they can prepare themselves to adjust in Europe?
Integrate very well into wherever you are, and that means understand the culture, understand the people, leave your biases back home, leave your prejudice back home. It's not going to help you. It's never going to help you. Try and learn the languages. Have an open mindset, a very open mindset, because at places like Europe might be a bit of a cultural shock for most of us, because we're used to a little different lifestyle. And like coming here, at first it seems like it's a whole different world, but when you've spent enough time, 2-3 years, you realize like it's the same as what you were doing, just in a different way. That's it. Like at the end of the day, it's the same. Like people are people. We all have, everyone has work, everyone has studies, everyone has fun, and everyone's doing it in their own, in their own way. But try and learn laundry, ironing your clothes, cleaning your own room, like from scratch, yeah, mopping and vacuuming. Like learn these skills. They will help you, because no one's gonna do it for you. No one's gonna do it for you when you're in university. Learn to cook. Learn to cook. Please learn to cook, because it's expensive to be eating out every single day. That's what I did in first year. I spent so much money on food. It's probably shameful. So Corona helped me to pick up and brush up on my cooking skills, because everything was closed, and I had to cook. It started out with just sandwiches at home with a little bit of butter as breakfast, to actually eating a proper breakfast now. So learn basic life skills. They will go a long way. And other than that, like especially for us Indians, it's actually quite nice, because most countries, everywhere that you go, there's an Indian community. like there is an Indian community. You just have to look on Facebook. I joined into these communities not because I want to only be and surround myself with Indians, or like put my put a barrier on that. No, it's just that like I have friends from all over the place, but it's always good to have your own people as well, because anytime that you're in need for something or you need help with something, they're there. And I've met some people from like actual living couples and like families that now check in on me and check out, like, okay, do you need some food, do you want some dal and rice, like it's the basic things that really go a long way here. So be part of a community, like try and go to a church, a temple, or a mosque, and like take part there. It really does help. And like yeah, just find a community which you would like in, and it can be in anything. It can be in service, in community, in religion, in sports, in anything, and just have a good system around you, good people, good friends, and your time at university is going to be just fine. Just fine.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Like at least for in the first year, since you've already done ICSE, you've done all the hard work already. I think first year would be pretty chill, no matter which university you go to. So your main emphasis should be forming, really good connections with people and exploring the culture, and especially like having a good set of social circle really helps, because it's really hard to manage alone by yourself here. And also here, not many Indians actually apply for aerospace in their bachelor's, but you find plenty of them during the master's program. So they really helped me out as well, like in my initial years. And also, yes, cooking is, oh my God, you have to like start learning it, because even I did the mistake and I didn't learn. And then when I finally moved in, I was again making like some simple, I would just buy some ready to heat food and then have that. But then at one point it just goes bland and you don't like it anymore. Then you have to kind of prepare food by yourself. Now I can somewhat manage, and I'm proud to say I can actually make a chicken biryani. So like that's one of my proud achievements. But yeah, now at least I have an Indian roommate as well. So we kind of share the cooking. So then it's like much easier, it takes less time. But yeah, that's like most important thing. And also just maybe in the first year try to, get accustomed to this new place, like living alone, doing all the things by yourself. You don't have to focus too much on academics as of yet. Like, of course, you do need to, but it should be pretty chill. Just have fun and like, explore. I think first year is the one time you can make the most use out of your time and like just join any clubs you can join. Especially there are always student committees active. Like most of the student committees are pretty active, so you can just join one. You form really good connections there as well, and also not just friends, but you can also approach professors and just join any alumni meets, or where they have like certain startup programs where there are people presenting their ideas and like workshops, because you also those kind of connections, you never know when it could help you out in your future career. Right now it's just perfect time to reach out to them and like share, like their experience are also really valuable, especially as a bachelor student starting out.
Yeah, like specifically what Kamlesh said, like reach out, because that's what I did. I forgot to mention this in 12th grade. Like once I knew that, okay, I'm going here and I'm doing this, I just went on to Facebook and like just typed, Masaryk University students, or like student association. You get all the information. I mean, like come on, this is the age of the internet. If you really want to find something, you can find it. And like just reach out to people. I've messaged so many of my like now doctors already. Like that's crazy. And they really were integral in my process of like getting eased into a new country on your own with no prior support or anything like this, it's extremely important. And like, especially and things like this, like mostly in first year, you'll probably be at the dorms, at the university accommodations. But then like in Europe, it's kind of not like, it's not like a thing where you will be in the dorms for all 5 years of your education. It's because they give preference to the incoming students, the freshers. And so by second or third year, like I moved out in second year and I got my own apartment. So for this as well, like, there are agencies for like realtor agencies. There's also Facebook. Facebook is honestly actually the best place for everything in terms of, life stuff, because you can find your accommodation on Facebook. You can find furniture on Facebook. You can find like, people that are willing to, like there's a family that lives about 2 blocks away from me that it's an Indian family and they work, but then on the weekends they make food and like they make tiffin food and sell it. Like, and I found that on Facebook. So I got home cooked food when I'm not able to do it myself because of time constraints. So yeah, just do your research on social media and student councils and stuff like this, because it's a valuable like source of information. And like as Kamlesh said as well, like when I came here in my first year, I immediately joined the student clubs, because that was the first place that you can interact with like-minded individuals, because there's definitely a crowd that you will like, and there's definitely a crowd that you will not like. It's just human nature. Everyone's like this. So finding the right people, finding like-minded individuals, that's most important. So, and for me, like being part of a community and like working for the community was very important. Even when I was in JSS, in the student council, being principal's representative or anything, like whenever we were doing carnivals and this and that, like that made me feel fulfilled. And the same thing here. Like I'm currently the head of public relations at my university's student council. So it's such an amazing opportunity for me to be able to interact with all the students from this university, like all the freshers and incoming students I end up interacting with, because I'm the one helping them integrate as well. And when I was in my first year, like the seniors that helped me, they were godsends, like they were like angels, because without them I would have struggled like massively. So yeah, it's all about taking help and giving help back as well. So.
For me as well, it was definitely harder than I thought it would be. Like living alone, having to do everything by yourself, and I mean, Karan and Kamlesh already said it. Learn to cook. I still struggle with cooking, and like the first few months when I was here, I used to just survive on eggs and chicken, eggs and bland chicken. That's it. And now I can get by. I can do some stuff. And yeah, having to do everything along with uni is quite stressful, but it's fun at the same time. And also here in Germany, there's a huge housing problem. Like there's a lot of people and very little houses. And when I came to Germany, I looked for houses for about like 4 months. Like when I was in UAE, I looked online on Facebook, on German websites for houses, and I found a house, but I still live 40 minutes away from university. So I have to travel every day, 40 minutes up and 40 minutes back. So it is very, very stressful. And even in Germany, the dorms are also very limited. So like if one applies for a dorm in, for instance, we're in June, you'll likely get it maybe next June or next August or something like that. So yeah, there's a huge housing problem, and you're living like all your friends, you guys are living like far away from each other. Like I live half an hour away from most of my friends, so it gets quite lonely sometimes. um, yeah.
Thank you for the answer. It was really insightful, and with all cooking and all, we'll definitely make sure that we do that just to ensure that we don't land up in the same trouble as you guys did. Okay, we're really short on time. So, last question from our side. It's going to be a rapid fire, one word, maximum one line. What's the advice that you would give your juniors to do or to not do? Both. And one thing, Kamlesh, your degree is something that's not usually heard of. It's not the most common engineering degree. So you enjoy it. What's your course like? And Hruday, one thing, you said that you have to learn basic German. So, and like if you're going to a university where the course is taught in German. So, do you learn that from an institute or YouTube channels, things like that? Quick one word, one line answers. Thank you.
Okay, then I'll go first. So yeah, the first question, the advice that I would give, definitely do not close any doors. Like any opportunity that you get, just go for it. You never know, like even if you're taking a particular degree, like just keep exploring. Like it doesn't have to be related to your degree. You never know. Like something, I know a lot of people who, it could not even be your passion. It could be something that you didn't even think about. So just keep exploring all the opportunities that you're faced with, which you'll face a lot in your university years. And regarding, what was the other question? Like with with the aerospace, right?
Yes,
Aerospace
what's
being
your course like?
yeah, yeah. I know a lot of not a lot of people take aerospace in the bachelor's, but then I was pretty sure about it from like since childhood, and also giving the entrance exam made me realize that this is what I kind of want to do as well. Because just taking mechanical engineering as basic start, it didn't make sense to me. So at least I was sure in that aspect, and it definitely is very challenging. I can actually say it is rocket science. It's the one privilege that comes with it. But then yeah, it's definitely challenging, and you kind of need to be sure that you want to do this. But otherwise, it's also like actually what I've noticed is aerospace engineering not only is like it's you might think that it's specialized, but it's actually not. It actually prepares you for a wide variety of jobs, like from data science to mechanical. It teaches you everything, like mechanical engineering, civil engineering, automotive, like aerodynamics, all of it. Like all of it is included in our course. So it's not something that if you take aerospace, not necessarily you become an aerospace engineer. I know a lot of people who've changed the track, and they're working in like different companies. So it's not something that's like fixed. It's not something you need to decide now itself. So it's still very open.
And I would like to say, like, during the application process, it's long, so you shouldn't take too much stress. You will get somewhere. Like, definitely, you will get into university. And you asked me about German, yeah?
Yeah, how did you manage? Like, did you study from an institute or online? How did you do that?
Okay, so I did German from an institute, but you can study however you want as long as you learn the language. You can do it from YouTube, you can do it from apps, you can do it from an institute, anything as long as you like know the language, it's okay. Uh, that's for me, but some universities where the medium of instruction is just German, they require a German language certificate, like a B1 certificate, or sometimes even C1. So for that, I think it's better to go to an institute and then take the exams.
All right. Thank you so much for the quick answers. We don't have time for Q&A sessions because exams are going on for all of us. So there's just one question in the chat that Raghav has put, which I'll be asking. This is for Hruday. I have heard that tuition fee in Germany is covered mostly by the uni or government if you have really great marks. So, how is it the fee in Germany and is it expensive?
Okay, so for the freshman course, you have to pay like a fee, but after the freshman course, you just have to pay like a semester fee, which is very minimal. And what I'm saying is for public universities. Private universities, they always have a fee. So public universities, they have like a very low semester fee that you have to pay every semester. And if you have good marks, you can get a scholarship. Yes, and if you get a scholarship, the university will give you money. Like, yeah, you get the money from the university because your education is already free or almost free, except the semester fee. So the university will give you money.
Right. Thank you so much. I hope that answers your questions, Agha. We don't have time to take more questions for the Q&A. I'm sure the alumni will be putting in their mail IDs. So if you have any specific questions for any one of them, you can always mail them.
Yeah. So this was a very informative and a very fun session, I would say. I think a lot of people got a lot of out of this session. It answered pretty much most of the questions that people who go want to go to Europe have. So I would like to thank you, Kamalesh, Karan, and Hruday for taking out time from your busy schedules, guiding our students on the application process for Europe and sharing your valuable anecdotes from your university experiences. It is indeed inspiring for all of us to pursue our dream careers. I would like to extend my gratitude to our principal, Mrs. Lata Nagra, our headmaster and secondary supervisor, Swami Sir, for their unconditional support. I would also like to thank our school counselor, Miss Alfia Costa, for her constant guidance and support. And lastly, our dear friend, for being a wonderful audience. Thank you.
Just to add in the vote of thanks, I'd like to thank Siddharth for the IT support. And I'll be sharing the feedback form once the session gets over. Request all of you all to please fill it out so we can improve our last few sessions which are left. And yeah, we'll be sharing the email IDs in the chat box. So due to time constraints, if you could not have your questions answered, you can always mail the alumni. And thank you for such a great session. We will be seeing you next weekend for our session on UAE. And that's it. This is Sazvi
And Kashish?
signing off. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, same. Have a great
Alright.
weekend.
Much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
All the best for your exams. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank
All the
you.
best.